Alright, welcome back. So we are almost at the point where we're going to be establishing all our connections to get everything working. So let's just get started and I'll explain things as we go through. So one of the first things we want to do now is move our pole vector locator right to where the knee is. So just test it out. And when it gets into this position here, we can see that that's basically where the leg would be pointing, and that's where we want everything to be. So let's freeze these transformations. Actually, let's unfreeze that. And where do we go from here? Let's create our control box. So we're just going to go to create polygons, cube. Let's bring it right there. Bring it in. I'm going to go hypergraph connections. Let's just make sure it has no shading. Hit 5, so no shading at all. That's basically what we're looking for. So we just made a group for it where we're rotating it by -180. So that we could bring it back into world space. Now let's look at our outliner just to see what's going on here. So this one is going to be a bit messy. So let's move the flipper above this. Nope, hit Control Z, that went wrong. Just trying to get all the IKs in the same area. We're only really doing it for cleanliness. Let's just call this group constraints. I just find it to be a pain with going through all that. This pole vector is actually not going to be needed because this one here is going to be the pole vector. Let's just give it another trial run. Alright, so there we go. That looks fine. Hit Control D, make another one, edit, unparent. So our next step is going to really be just to end up hiding this entire group. But what we want to do first is we really are going to be doing an odd batch of parenting. So we're going to call the parent of this cube PV world group. And we'll call this one leg PV. Let's bring up our connection editor so we could see what we're going to do here. I will call this invis pointer PV. We'll just load these up. So translate to translate. So that will move that. Now we'll come here, we'll go up one in the group. So we'll make it this world invis PV group. So we're going to take the parent group of our PV and we're going to orient the invis PV group to it. So now we're going to take the PV world group and we're going to point constrain it to the invis world group. So grab the invis world group, hit control, PV world group, constrain, point. And let's see how this all moves. So let's see, let's bring this one in a little bit more. So that's actually in the right place. So what we'll do, we'll make another group. Or a group for PV. We'll break this connection over here. Grab the PV world. So world viz, control, PV world, parent constraint. So the rotation and movement looks a lot more like it should. And this ORI group, we'll probably end up orientating it to anything else just so that we could keep everything moving straight. But if we do that, we're going to also want to do that to this too. So we make another group. Actually, let's undo that. Going to create another locator. So this one is just going to be our world dummy. We even call it world dummy. I'm sure we all know one of those, so we could think of them as we do it. Alright, so now that we have this, we actually want to parent that again. Call it invis world dummy. So we'll orient everything to this. And you can see how everything moves. So everything will point in the right direction and everything will do the right initial orientation, but we'll be able to move everything in a more intuitive fashion if that's what the animators prefer. So now what we do is we're going to delete this locator here, make this the new PV. So let's look for our leg IK, hit Control, no, oops. Yes, let's use this one as the pole vector. So you can see how everything's moving. So now our next step is just to start deleting some shape nodes. This entire group really is unneeded when looking at their the entire path of their shape nodes. So you can see the flipper here, then it has the shape node, so we'll just delete the shape node. And we'll call this knee pointer group now. Locked. So that just cleaned everything up for us just a little bit. Putting everything into stackable groups and then having all the IKs in the same place. Now I'm going to select all of these here, just so we could do a search and replace name. So group Ori PT dash locked will now be knee pointer group. I already changed it, so I'm just going to accept this out of pure laziness. So everything is almost as we need it to be. We have our PV world group. We have our world dummy, our IKs. So PSTJ, JT groups. All I did was I took the PSTJ1 and the PSTJ locator group, put that all in one, and put the one up behind it again. So things are just a little bit cleaner. The NURB circle stands on its own. The knee pointer group. We could also put on in here too. Just keep everything a little bit cleaner. And so now we test everything out one last time. We can see everything's pretty much working except for this flip here. So in the next lesson we're going to fix that. Not going to be much to it, but it is a very necessary step. So with that, I will catch you in the next video.